back from Thanksgiving break. I'm Lewis.
I'm Trent.
And we have a very short show today. We are currently wiping the computer and trying to update the OS to Catalina, which any of you who might know something about a Mac, that's actually the previous operating system, because Big Sur recently came out. We try not to go to the latest operating system. A wise move if you're doing a lot of video production, because some of your apps might stop working. So we're typically an operating system behind. Because of that, because of all the prep for Thanksgiving, today's show is going to be very brief. We're going to show you a clip from last year, stories with Mr. Bostic. So we'll get to know Mr. Bostic a little bit. And then...
That's a good one.
It is. And then we're also going to watch a race between Allie and Patrick from several years back. Do you remember when that was?
That was my freshman year.
Okay, so that was your freshman year, so this would have been 3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
All right, so those are the clips you're about to see. We don't have a lunch menu yet for November, so I can't tell, or for December, so I can't tell you exactly what we're eating for lunch today. Sad. Do we? Hold. I lied. Today, it is going to be the seafood basket. Have we had that lately?
I don't know. I don't go to lunch.
Okay. It is going to be seafood basket. For those of you who are not interested in the seafood basket, it'll be macaroni and cheese. So a little something for everybody at lunch today.
We're trying to be somewhere out to eat.
And then Trent's leaving school to go eat because he leaves every day. Today's the last day of November. So we don't have the lunch menus for tomorrow. Anyway, again, Mr. Bostic, stories of Mr. Bostic, and then the race with Allie and Patrick. And then we will see you back here for a full episode. We have state testing coming up starting this Wednesday. So it's going to be a busy week. Trent, you have something you want to say about the menu?
No, I was just making sure you read that right, because I thought you were pointing right here, but you were pointing right here. Sucking.
And I got it right.
I mean, I left out a couple minor details, but yeah.
There's also going to be some field peas, a hot cinnamon apples, and then fruit slushes.
Who eats that?
Your choices today are the seafood basket or macaroni and cheese. All right. Good morning. It wouldn't be Eagle Vision without a little obstacle course.
Competition.
Competition, yes. A little friendly competition. Allie has decided that she can take Patrick, an ROTC cadet, by the way, on the obstacle course. So what better thing to do than to come down here with the camera crew and film the friendly and to film Patrick losing. I don't think that's what's gonna happen, but we'll see.
Whoa, they ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I stress overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no channel for champions and chain no fear. Yup, the champ is here, switch gears. We're keeping haters in the rear. At the blood, sweat and tears and my goal so near. I see my victory so clear. I see my victory so clear. And today, we break through. 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 And today, we break through.
That was a super letdown, actually. The obstacle course has certain rules, and you
I didn't say I was going to follow the rules.
all of them. Okay.
I don't know them.
Flag. This is greater than trophies and saluted flags. Titles of fame, the cross is paid. Yay, I carried the cross I made. Dealt with the dealer. Baby, the hand was played. New level, next stage. Learn to lead it to legend. Now tell me what's my next stage. Yay. I said the champ is here, Swiss gears. We keeping haters in the rear.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Horn Lake, Mississippi. I grew up in DeSoto Village and spent most of my life here. I was born in Memphis at Baptist East, of course. Baptist DeSoto didn't exist at the time, or it's not where you went to have babies, I guess. But grew up in Horn Lake, grew up in DeSoto Village, spent my life here. Went to Horn Lake Elementary, Horn Lake Intermediate, Middle, and High. Something that a lot of y'all don't know about is I went to Horn Lake Intermediate when it was by the railroad tracks. DCAC was Horn Lake Intermediate. So that's where I went to intermediate school. And then middle school, for me, was on Horn Lake Road, where the intermediate school is now. And so I grew up here, left for college, and then now I live here now with my wife, and I call this home, and it is my hometown.
Tell us about your family.
I am one of 3 brothers. I have 2 older brothers, Clyde and Blake, and they've been pivotal in my life. They're role models, and they're 2 of my best friends. My parents have been married a long time, and they are the youngest of 5 siblings. And so that makes my cousins way older than me, so that makes my family life a little different than a lot of people. I have cousins that are closer to my mom's age than my age, and closer to my dad's age than my age. I'm closer to their kids' age. And so family life for me was a little different, but I grew up here. Most of my family lives in the Memphis area or in DeSoto County, and we're all pretty close-knit. I don't have any grandparents still alive, and so my aunts and uncles seem to stay pretty close-knit, and we've kind of remained that way. And now that I'm married, been married for 3 years, and my wife's family lives in Tupelo, and so I have family down in Tupelo now through her, and she has a sister that lives in Pontotoc, Mississippi. And so also too, between my 2 older brothers and on my wife's side of the family, through her siblings, we have 12 nieces and nephews. Being an uncle is probably one of my most favorite things in life. I love being an uncle. There are 12 nieces and nephews that are 10 and under, and 1 more is on the way. So 13 nieces and nephews between my wife and I.
Tell us about your years in high school.
High school was formative for me. You talk to some people and they didn't really like high school. For me, high school was, I thrived. I really enjoyed all that I got to do. I was involved in student council. I was involved in theater, in choir. I was involved in National Honor Society. And for me, it was formative in developing my leadership skills and in developing what I wanted to do in my life. I didn't realize it at the time, but looking back, I realized the impact that teachers have made on my life and my peers, as well as the principals and assistant principals that really helped me develop into who I am today. I loved high school. That's part of the reason that I love being a teacher, is I want students to love high school and to really discover who they are the same way that I did.
What was a pivotal moment in your teenage years?
One moment that I'll never forget, being the youngest of 3 boys, I was very close to my older brothers, both of them. One is 7 years older, one is 5 years older, and I was close to them. But my oldest brother, he was that person that would pick on you. He still is that person that would just pick on you. But if anybody else picked on you, he was your main defense. He was ready to beat up whoever was messing with you. But if nobody was messing with you, he was the one beating you up. And I'll never forget, my middle brother had moved off to Ole Miss. And so we're living in our home in DeSoto Village, which is not a very big home for 5 people, and now 4 people that my brothers moved off to Ole Miss. And my oldest brother asked me to move into his bedroom and wanted to share a room because he was fixing to get married and he was fixing to leave home. And I'll never forget, he got his stuff together. He was getting his house together. He was getting ready to move. So it was a big process. It was a transition process. He was helping to renovate the house they were going to move into after they got married. And I'll never forget him grabbing those last few boxes and just kind of turning around in the room and looking at it like, this is it, I'm gone. And for me, it was a pivotal moment because I was old at that point. I was the one in the house that was left. And so the little brother lifestyle that I had lived for that many years, I now had to grow up. And at first I did not like it at all, but it drew us closer, and I'm thankful for it. But it was a pivotal moment in me kind of pushing myself into young adulthood, honestly.
What jobs did you have in high school?
Don't tell Mr. Orr, but my favorite job I ever had was bagging groceries at Schnucks grocery store. Now, y'all don't know anything about Schnucks, but Schnucks, it was where Kroger is now at Horn Lake Road in Goodman. That was Schnucks based out of St. Louis, and I loved it. It was stress-free. You clocked in, you clocked out, and you bagged groceries, and you helped old ladies get their groceries to their cars, and you helped somebody find the milk. It was simple, and it was just a lot of fun. I enjoyed the people I worked with. And so yeah, that was my high school career, was working there until I took a job working as an intern at Horn Lake City Hall right near the end of my time at Schnucks. I actually quit there and went to work for City Hall.
Tell us about your college experience.
Oh my college experience. So let me tell you, it was a fantastic experience after I figured out what I was doing. So senior year, I applied for one college, Delta State. And I went to Delta State. And I came home at Christmas because I was not ready for college. It's nothing against Delta State. It's a fantastic university. I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready socially. I wasn't ready to be away from home, to be away from my parents, to take my own responsibility. I just wasn't at a mental state of being ready for college. And so after spending 6 months at Delta State with my best friend, who we're still best friends today, he was my roommate. I leave at Christmas and he stays there, which got awkward for a while. I come back home and I go to Northwest. And I go to Northwest because I'm trying to figure out, what am I doing? See, at Delta State, I majored in political science. And don't get me wrong, I still am very interested in local government, and I'm interested in government as a whole, but not politics. There's a big difference. And so I realized that political science wasn't the path for me. And so I came home and toyed around with different majors. I toyed around with social work, generic education. I just didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. But what's funny, and if I backtrack for just a second, in third grade, I wanted to be a third grade teacher. In the fifth grade, when I grew up, I wanted to be a fifth grade teacher. Eighth grade, same thing. 12th grade, I should have followed my intuition, but instead I chose political science. So after spending a year and a half at Northwest, I transferred to Mississippi State and I majored in education. But here's how I get to Mississippi State. My roommate at Delta State, his sister, twin sister, she goes to Mississippi State right off the bat. He's at Delta State, she's at Mississippi State. So I leave Delta State at Christmas, he stays till May, and then she convinces him to go to Mississippi State. So he goes to Mississippi State, and throughout that sophomore year of college, when I'm at Northwest and he's at Mississippi State, he's telling me, hey man, you need to come on down here, I think you would like it. So I start going down there a lot on weekends to hang out with him and all the friends that he's made, to go to church with him, to just kind of see what Starkville was about. And I meet, in the meantime, his sister has made a lot of good friends, and so I meet some girls, and one of the girls is now my wife. But let me tell you how that happened real fast. So, because she's instrumental to the story. I'm not just telling you a love story. She's instrumental because she was one of the ones that would sit with me, when we're all hanging out, we would sit there and have conversation about why I should come to State. And one of my biggest things was I can't afford it. And she said, well, I couldn't either, and this is how we did it. We talked about the FAFSA, which y'all should do, by the way, and the Pell Grants that you get and different things. And so it worked out. And so I credit her with convincing me to come to Mississippi State.
What's something you love about this school?
One thing I love about Horn Lake High School is the family that it has always been. Horn Lake has changed throughout the years. People will say, oh, you went back home. You went to your hometown to teach. And that's not really true. You look at the school and the staff and how different it is over time, and there's so many different faces, but yet we still have this family bond. And I don't know what gives it that. I don't know what it is about us, but I know that when I come to work, the faculty and staff here and the principals, the leadership here, we're all in this together. We all have this bond, and I've been other places and it just feels different here. And it felt that way with teachers way back in the day, and it feels that way with teachers today, with the people that I work with, that it's just, we're a big family and we're all in this together. We all, it's like we link arms and take on the world, kind of. And that's something that kind of gets me through and makes work so enjoyable, is that I get to work with people that seem to love their job as much as I love my job. One thing that I really enjoy about students here at Horn Lake is the fight that they have in them. Now, not the physical fight, but the fight, the drive that our students have to do what's necessary to succeed. And one of my favorite things being a teacher is to pull that out of students and to really push them and help them, because I believe all of our students have a desire to succeed, and you have it in you. I think every student has it in them to succeed. I don't know, our students just have this ability to take on the world like other students don't have. They are, they go through a lot of things earlier in life sometimes, but it makes them stronger. And I would not trade my students for the world.